All right, everyone, we start off today talking about the Project Veritas FBI raid. The plot thickens because there were snippets of Ashley Biden's diary, alleged to be real, that had been floating around for some time, and I guess Veritas had them and never published them. Now, apparently, Ashley Biden's diary has been stolen, and so the FBI's raiding Project Veritas. That would sort of indicate that the diary is real. That is, that the snippets that had been given to Veritas that initially couldn't be confirmed, that connection shows that that material probably was authentic, and the FBI probably presumes that a Project Veritas member broke in to take the diaries to be able to confirm it. Because, of course, if you can confirm the diary's existence, there are some damning things that we'll get into that are in there that involve Joe Biden, as well as other members of the Biden family. I think also Hunter. Of course, Hunter was known to be leaving inappropriate comments to his underage, niece or cousin or something like that. That's known. That's from the Hunter Biden laptop debacle that you never heard about on the legacy media. You heard about it here. You heard about it on certain missing link media pages. You heard it mentioned in very sanitized form on Fox. CNN audience just thinks it's a giant conspiracy theory. Even now, a lot of the liberals, they don't believe that the Hunter Biden laptop thing was even real. Even once the legacy media started talking about it immediately after the election happened. Honk, honk. Anyway, we'll get into this because this story is absolutely fucking surreal. First and foremost, though, keep in mind, down below if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a pinned comment with links to 4 other video hosting sites that I use. Keep in mind, I make several exclusive videos every day on those platforms. If there's no non-political, non-news videos to make, it's 3. Otherwise, the extra video does go on YouTube, but there will always be at least 2 exclusives on those platforms. So keep in mind, you're not getting 2/5 or even 3/5 of your daily clank if you're not following me on one or more of them. Growth, by the way, well ahead on those platforms. So the FBI raids several people from Veritas. Legally speaking, generally, you wouldn't come out and make a statement about this. James O'Keefe chose to. We'll see how that works. The idea is you can hamper the investigation. I think in his mind, he's putting 2 and 2 together. If Veritas offices are being raided, if the homes of Veritas members are being raided, I believe, and a reasonable person would presume, that the FBI is considering it likely that one of those people that had access to some of that material anyway but couldn't corroborate it, therefore couldn't straight up report on it. It wouldn't be journalism, it would be speculation / labeled as conspiracy theory. If you wanted to corroborate the document, you would go and you would attempt to get the document, specifically from Ashley Biden's home. You would attempt to requisition the diary. I think that they have a suspicion, and not actually technically an unreasonable one, because you've established a potential motive at least, for that. Now, normally, if the FBI raids someone who's politically connected, you assume a political hatchet job, especially under the Beijing Biden administration. That would be the operative assumption. Probably that's what happened. Here, it looks like they actually had a reason to do that, at least potentially. Not necessarily, and I'm not defending the FBI in raiding these offices, because, who gives a shit anyway? But what they accidentally do, by doing this, is confirm that the diary is real. Now, why does this matter? Snippets of this had been floating around for a while, and again, couldn't be corroborated. But one of those snippets has Ashley Biden talking about taking naked showers with her father, potentially in an inappropriate manner. Now, I don't believe we can establish exactly, I think, the age that Ashley Biden was at the time. My thought would be this is not a father bathing their little kid in the shower like a toddler who can't bathe themselves. This is potentially beyond that. And this would corroborate the Biden character in general. We know Hunter Biden is a sleazebag. We know that he has fantasies about people who are underage. We know this based on some of his own conversations. We know that Hunter Biden has done all sorts of depraved sexual shit. Well, usually the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, now does it? So to speculate that Joe Biden, who has been in public touching little girls in a potentially inappropriate manner, schmoozing with women certainly in an inappropriate manner, and has done this regularly, I would say that that's even further corroboration of at least the likelihood that that would be true. We can't confirm. I mean, you can't claim, well, Joe Biden molested his daughter. That's not even what's said in the diary. You can infer that if you want. For any legal purpose, it wouldn't stand up. But she felt that it was potentially inappropriate that she was showering with her dad at whatever age she was. Again, Joe has acted in a certain manner, even openly in public, with young girls. Put two and fucking two together, at some point people get a little bit suspicious. Again, it could still be a hatchet job. I'm sure the FBI would like to raid Project Veritas anyway, because of course there's political motive behind it. We know the FBI is no longer a particularly apolitical organization. It has been misused by political powers that be multiple times. For instance, Hastings. You remember Michael Hastings? That one wasn't talked about much in the legacy media. That was back in the days when on YouTube you could actually post evidence that shenanigans were going on. Now they're definitely throttling back on people's ability to do so. Another reason to follow the exclusives, because you can be a little bit more frank. This basically proves that the diary is real. So, at the very least, she felt it was uncomfortable. Again, the other problem is this. This is the real kicker. Now, if the legacy media were willing to do journalism, ask actual questions, this would become a major problem, I think, for Joe Biden. But because it involves Veritas, they're not going to help their independent competitors. So that would be one reason they wouldn't talk about it, or at least talk about it fairly. They'll just say, oh yeah, Project Veritas was raided by the FBI. Ha ha ha. It was because of January the 6th or something. They'll let their fans infer that, not tell them what the truth is. The other reason, of course, they'll cover for Joe Biden. They're great friends of his. By the way, new polling coming out showing Biden tanking again in approval, and the Republicans now with a significant edge in the generic congressional ballot vote. I wonder why that could possibly be. However, this is problematic for another reason. Here's another thing I thought of that I don't think anyone else has mentioned. Joe Biden came out and apologized for his behavior towards females during the campaign. He explicitly questioned, I think it was by Kamala Harris actually at the time, in the same breath as calling him a racist, saying that he has racist views, and he had to apologize for that, which was stupid. He was also labeled problematic with regards to his behavior towards women. He apologized. He's since done it several more times. It's just the legacy media never talks about it. You have reams and reams of video footage and photos showing Joe Biden doing this. Much like with Cuomo, who came out, he apologized to one of the people he was working with, one of his staffers, with regards to his sexual advances, actually. I think that was at the time his producer. Technically his superior, and he had, I guess tried to kiss her or something, and he apologized. Now, the fact is that when you have apologized for it, you've just corroborated the truth of the story. Biden has corroborated the fact that he acknowledges that his interactions with females have been not entirely appropriate. He's done this before. Not that it stops him from continuing to do it. He's stopped a little bit. His handlers are very careful to keep him away from female individuals, in case you hadn't noticed. So now he has to snuzzle with Kamala Harris, I guess. But if this diary is corroborated, which by all means it appears to be, somebody should probably be looking into this. I guess Veritas can now report on the content there much more frankly. Not going to hear from CNN, not going to hear it from MSNBC. Soccer mom, lolbrool, boring-ass America will still not know what the hell is going on, just like they don't understand that the Hunter Biden laptop story shows dirty dealings in multiple countries that implicate Joe Biden as having lied to the American public about meeting with Pablo Escobar or whoever. This happened as well on multiple occasions. Well, Hunter Biden, by the way, was getting paid huge sums by foreign intel, etc., while he was banging hookers. While he was, I think, cheating on his dead brother's widow at the time with a stripper, getting her pregnant, lying about that, and then getting hammered in court. The timeline of the Biden family is a timeline basically of incest and degeneracy. When you look at the Biden family's history, really it is like backwater drag toothlessness. Which is really funny because, of course, Biden casts himself off as this slicked down, shiny politician. He's a sleazebag. The whole family is involved with embezzlement and perversion. Other than the fee, it's sort of like the Bush family. All the male Bushes are crazy. It's like, Barbara, how do you even deal with this? Laura Bush is very, very long-suffering. Can you imagine the dinner time conversations in that whack-ass family? A bunch of freaks and weirdos. The Bidens give them easily a run for their money. They give the Clintons a run for their money with regards to perversion. I would have said the diary is probably real to begin with. that the FBI can't raid you without having some form of cause that would compel a judge. It's pertinent, we know, to this home invasion. That corroborates the diary is real, because you couldn't establish suspicion that it was someone from Veritas needing to be raided having that material unless the scans were actually from the diary. They're real. Joe Biden creeped out his own daughter. This is bigger news than Fartgate with Camilla there. I guess he over in Britain at the COP climate change horseshit conference. I guess he ripped a loud one, and she couldn't help but notice, and now she's chuckling about it on a regular basis. This would corroborate the fact that, I mean, you know, you're pushing 80 years old. Occasionally you have an accident. I just find it funny that people, honk, duly elected an individual who's clearly out to lunch, can't control his bowels, and apparently can't control himself around females. By the way, as people get more demented, sometimes they get very open and honest, and they sort of revert because they no longer have any self-control. So you could get to the point where Joe Biden just goes crazy on stage and starts trying to fondle someone's boobs. That would not be impossible to happen. I know they have him dosed up on a million different medications for his obvious Alzheimer's, but he's creepy even around his own relatives. Again, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So did Hunter. Where do you think he learned it from? In a vacuum, Hunter Biden just one day he decided to be a cracked out weirdo. Yeah, no, he got his genes from Joe. So, and apparently Ashley got something other than genes. But it was Joe Biden without his genes on. Problematic. Again, if this had been a report on Trump, I'm sure the legacy media would talk about it. Remember, they spent months rambling about what's her name, Stormy Daniels, who attacked her own lawyer Avenatti before he got arrested for, was it fraud and embezzlement, or think something along those lines. Or was it inside? Was it blackmail? I can't remember what they got Avenatti on. But his political ambitions, I guess, are over. But again, these people all mill about, and they're all a bunch of weirdos and perverts, it seems. It seems to be the common thread of the Biden family and everyone they directly associate with. Now, so it's real. The FBI raiding Veritas. I mean, there's no other way to interpret that. That's about all. Peace out.